Hello everyone, this is Freyia and welcome to a new episode of our Q&A time. This is today's first question. Bone tapping. Is this an ancient practice? What does it do and how do you do it? Bone tapping is an ancient healing art related to Tai Chi. It aims at healing yourself using your own touch. The purpose is to tap with vigor close to bones, mainly so to send the vibration real deep for the vibration to eliminate inflammation, tension, in doing so preventing distress and disease. I consider this method immensely primal and natural. Hence, it is a solid part of my witchcraft practice because it makes me conscious of my body and the land. As I have developed my way of doing that, which we will now talk about. Being conscious of your body and the land is immensely important in Norse and Sami witchcraft, which I consider Urkraft, the primal force of the land, the healing sorcery of the land, beautifully sung by the land itself in the yoik of the rune Ur, which is often worn for promoting health and well-being. The main purpose of this method is to ground yourself, make you conscious of your body and put you back in your center. Now, I have tried bone tapping by using my own hands, but unfortunately it generates an amount of energy that does everything but grounding myself. So I have developed my own technique, which I promptly called antler bone tapping. You see, there is no way we can exclude nature if we practice Norse and Sami sorcery. Hence, for me, the tapping had to happen differently. When my body is already present in the procedure, I needed nature to merge with the whole experience of bone tapping. So one day during a ceremony by a large stallu in a forest here on the island where I live in northern Norway, I simply tried the method using reindeer antlers instead of my fists or hands, and magic unfolded really. So I use reindeer antlers of various dimensions for tapping my bones. Also, reindeer antlers are made of bone, so imagine when you hit your bones with the animal bones, what a dark, passionate dance you are actually conjuring. The sets of reindeer antlers I use tend to vary from small baby antlers to very large antlers to antlers I have decorated with bells, so when I tap my bones they sing. I usually tap my body beginning from the feet bones and work my way up. My way of tapping, as you might have seen in previous video productions, is quite hard and primal, and 9 out of 10 happens in nature. In addition to antlers, instead, when I need to relax my body, I use reindeer feet to gently tap my body, or even reindeer ears. It goes without saying that these are nature findings. I believe antler bone tapping, or simply the traditional bone tapping, is a very low impact physical practice that, in my opinion, promotes health and good energy and helps to maintain strength of mind and body. The second question of our Q&A time is, I was curious about something that you showed in your house. If you could tell us about the Sami boots that you had hanging in your living room, it seems like there might be a fascinating story with that. That is indeed correct, and there is a magical story going with that. Shoes have been used in magic for quite a while. These old sorceries have been found beneath doorways, up inside chimneys and rooftops, and in the walls of houses. In our home, we have 2 pairs of reindeer fur and leather shoes hanging to different areas of our household. We have adopted them several years ago from a local garden sale, and since then they have become our house guardians. Up here in this corner of Sapmi, it's not uncommon to find shoes hanging in barns or even in houses. This tradition serves mainly one purpose: to protect your home against Gandr, in general, the evil. You see, our homes are portals. Unwanted energies can enter from literally anywhere. Hence, I believe hanging the shoes in visible areas talks immediately back to these unwanted energies. But why shoes, right? Well, first of all, I believe a pair of stunning, soft reindeer fur shoes could lure any cunning, evil energy or being, especially in this corner of the world, which is dark and very, very cold. In my experience, I have noticed that the evil forces tend to believe the shoe is the person, so they attack the shoes instead and become trapped inside of them. Once the shoes are hung, you are not supposed to take them out of your house as long as you are not passing them down. It is said that such reindeer shoes cover 3 lifetimes, so you can pass them down, but after 3 lifetimes they need to be burnt. The next question is, was Sami sorcery seen as a woman's domain? Not really. Female Sami sorcerers and mistresses of the Sami huts had the control of the ancestral cult, like Sacrificial Trees or love magic, family magic, household magic, and the magic of their own area of work, such as reindeer tending rites. Male sorcerers protected particularly the environment, safeguarded the land and the tundra pastures, hunting and fishing, and repelled illnesses sent by outsiders. To the Sami, sorcery was an environmental philosophy pertaining to both sexes and worked equally by female in their primary environment and by males in their primary environment. People of whatever sex equally sought safety magic rites above all. When it was a question of the future in a crisis situation, when sharing some important phase of work or a new period in life, rites offered immense peace of mind. With them, everything possible was done, and men and women could be equally free of such things that in the end could not be controlled, and leave the future in the hands of the gods. The fourth question is, what is a Sami Seita? Originally, the Seita has been an unusual eye-catching natural rock, a protruding piece of bedrock, or a natural site such as a rapids, a lake, or even a meadow. These spots were marked by a stone column erected by placing 2 or 3 round rocks on top of each other to resemble a human figure in the area where the supernatural guardian of the location resided. Sami people made ritual offerings to the supernatural guardian of the place to ensure success in fishing, hunting, or reindeer husbandry. Seitas were designated for sacrificial purposes, and strangers were not permitted to touch them. They could only be appreciated when performing rites. Noisy behaviors and displays of unbelief by mocking the supernatural residents of the site were not permitted at Seita's sites. There were several types of Sami Seitas. For example, we have the fishing Seitas, where the ritual sites of Sami people whose main livelihood was fishing were situated on the coast of the Arctic Ocean. We have many up here on our North Norwegian coastline. Fishing Seitas have mostly been rocks or cairns piled up from stone, and it was a tradition to anoint them with fish oil or offer them a full fish to the site or bring reindeer antlers. Hunting Seitas were situated at deer hunting grounds. The stones were generally anointed with deer fat or blood. These sites represented a place where the soul of the hunted animals were released back to the other world. Reindeer herding Seitas. These were usually situated in the tundra plateau alongside the annual migration routes, on good pasture lands, or in the vicinity of calving grounds. Rites have been performed at these sites, particularly in the fall at reindeer rutting time and in the spring at calving time, as well as at reindeer herding turning points. In the autumn, for example, when the reindeer herd is rounded up, or in the spring when the reindeer are set free by the Sami people. Mainly, reindeer antlers were offered at these sites, but it is the positioning of the antlers to be quite interesting for what I have seen. Antlers were placed in the ground in front of the Seita as to form an enclosure, an antlers corral which fenced off the environment to protect the spirit of that place. Large antlers corrals are said to have contained hundreds, even thousands of reindeer antlers. The whole relationship with the spirits of the Seitas was based on reciprocity. The Seita was promised an offering or a share of the catch if fishing, hunting, reindeer husbandry in the area governed by the Seita was successful. The fifth question of our Q&A time is, can you tell us some common sacrificial trees in Sapmi? Sacrificial trees have been birch, pine, or fir, and also rowan, growing in the homestead or on the rocky landscape near the house. Right trees had a faithful connection to their owners, so the well-being of the tree translated in the well-being of the human living by the tree. We do have a right tree on our property. It is a rowan and it is located right next to our home. It is the closest tree to our house. To mark some important events, some of these trees trees got debranched from half the tree down. The last question of today's Q&A time is: how do you connect to Hoenir? Hoenir is the Norse god of silence and spirituality. For this reason, he is one of the first encounters you might have up here, especially on the Tundra Plateau or wetlands. He is connected to a long-legged bird that lives up here in the wet fields. I believe contemplation, observation of the land, meditation, standing practices held outside in nature can be all great ways to connect with him, but the relationship with him is complex, as he asks not to be in silence but to be silence, which for the majority of humans is probably one of the most complex things in life. Conjuring silence is not enough. You need to become silence. To me, he is truly the god of the wetlands. Wetlands are powerful, therapeutic landscapes. They are ephemeral and transitional, places where we can learn to transition from one state to another. They are very special to me, as we have many of these places up here. They are places where you can easily transition in something other than yourself. Thank you so very much for watching this video. Thanks for spending some of your time here with me today. It's been truly appreciated, and I'll see you all in my next video. Tack så mycket. Hej då!
Morgonen gryr, de djupa skogarna tystnar. Natthimlen glittrar, dimman ligger tät. Morgonen gryr, de djupa skogarna tystnar. Natthimlen glittrar.